Hi, I'm Dr. Sky. Welcome to the Great American Total Solar Eclipse. We've been preparing for this for years. Through our eyes, we're hoping to show you the whole experience, people that are helping make the eclipse possible, the event itself. Join me, Dr. Sky, as we travel to Rexburg, Idaho, with our family broadcasting team. Ladies and gentlemen, you ain't seen nothing yet. The Great American Total Solar Eclipse with me, Dr. Sky, and the Family Broadcasting Network.
I'm Lena DeFlorius. I'm having a hard time seeing you, which oddly enough makes it perfect to watch the Great Eclipse of 2017. We are T-minus 6 days. We've got everything you need and everything you need to know coming up. Good morning, Arizona. Dr. Sky is here to show us how we can watch the eclipse with our back to the sun and with something you probably have in your kitchen right now.
You know, something special. It's the Dr. Sky treat here, and it's not something that you're going to eat readily, but this saltine cracker, if you then turn a sheet of paper and you can see the holes, if with your back to the sun, this is good for children if you don't have the solar glasses, at around 10:33 local time today, you will be seeing these projected images as long as we have clear skies. Now that rocks, because who would argue with a saltine cracker, safe viewing of the sun, no damage to your eyes. How about that one?
And you get a snack after.
That's
if you
exactly
are so
right.
inclined. So safety first, you'll have a good time, and again, you can do it with your back to the sun so you know that your eyes are okay.
These are ISO certified glasses, folks, and this is what you need to see. And now a great controversy exists about what glasses are good. I can just tell you the ISO certification on these is what makes them safe, and you should not be able to see anything through these glasses, of course, with hopefully no holes punctured in them or punched in them. The light of the sun should be dimmed down to a safe orange color or similar color. These are the safe ISO solar glasses for all solar eclipses. Let me bring in a good friend of ours, a pair of binoculars. These binoculars were specially designed by Meade Instrument Corporation, and you can see the yellow caps on the end of these binoculars. They are the safe solar filters. So I could literally take these and stare at the sun with them as long as the yellow caps are on. What's important about this in this presentation is that you want to bleed away the heat and light of the sun at the front end, not at the back end. This dissipates more than 99% of the heat and light that comes through, including the ultraviolet and the infrared. You may ask, what about some other ways to view the eclipse safely? Well, we brought into the picture here another of Meade's products. This is a small little reflecting telescope, as you can see. This one made specifically for this eclipse. And what is this? It's a Eclipse View 82. It's a small reflecting telescope that has on the end a very secure solar filter that prevents the light of the sun from damaging your eyes. As you can see, it's a mirror system, like a little Newtonian telescope. Then what do? I put the solar filter over it, secure it with the knob, make sure it doesn't fall off, and then gently point it toward the sun. I don't recommend you looking at the finder scope here. We're just going to do this in this short demo the way I'm doing it. And then that filter, again, you want to dissipate the light and heat of the sun from the front end, and you would then look right through here on this part, which is the eyepiece, and focus. Another of the many ways to watch and enjoy astronomy safely, and particularly the Great American Total Solar Eclipse. The pen that you see, the tip of the pen, is somewhere out in the Pacific Ocean. That's the beginning of the August 21st, 2017 total solar eclipse. Now watch as I move my pen in the path of totality. On that morning, the eclipse path moves along here. Thus, obviously, there's nothing out there but ocean. And then, as you see, this particular path touches the coast here of Oregon. The Great American Total Solar Eclipse, because it never touches any other country. So for about 93 minutes, the path of totality crosses Oregon. It moves into Idaho. It goes into Wyoming, down through Nebraska. It moves all the way, of course, through Missouri, and then moves across the East Coast states. You can see that. The point where the pen is right now is a position where the greatest eclipse occurs. And that occurs for us in Carbondale, Illinois, where some 2 minutes and 40 seconds of totality exist. And as you can see then, the shadow moves out off of Charleston, South Carolina, and touches no more land until the sun sets just off the coast of Africa. In case you're curious about the next eclipse of the sun, this is a total eclipse of the sun, mark the date of April the 8th, 2024. Way out here in the Pacific Ocean, we see once again the shadow of the moon begins way down here, touches landfall across Mexico. Greatest eclipse will happen here in, of course, southern Mexico, then moving across Texas, like areas like Dallas, all the way up through the central states, through Cleveland, Ohio, Buffalo, New York, and then it exits off the coast and way out into the ocean. But as you can see in a wider shot there, if we can move out with the camera and just show the number and frequency of these solar eclipses from the year 2011 to the year 2060. Now, you may be saying, wow, Dr. Sky, there's so many paths of totality or eclipses. The interesting point about this is this. Very few of those touch populated areas, and the point is you have to go to totality and travel in order to see it. Folks, if you've never seen a total solar eclipse, we hope throughout this presentation that you're going to get to see what's behind the scenes of an expedition. We're ready to head to Rexburg, Idaho. It's that way, about 1,000 miles from Phoenix, Arizona, for the great American total solar eclipse. Welcome aboard. Well, folks, we finally made it. We're here in Rigby, Idaho, at this most magnificent location, one day away from the great American total solar eclipse.
Okay, well, this is my wife, Debbie, and these are my two daughters. You can see them, Quinn and Reagan. We're from outside of Salt Lake City. We're in a little town called Farmington. So yeah, we're chasing the eclipse.
And we're back on KID News Radio 106.3 and 92.1. We're so pleased to welcome into the studio. You know him as Dr. Sky. You hear him weekly on Coast to Coast AM. Dr. Sky, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me here on KID News Radio 103 and 92.1. Appreciate it.
Well, you come originally from Phoenix. You flew into Salt Lake. Yes. You drove up from Salt Lake City. How was the trip?
Amazing, and we're surprised we didn't see as many people on the road as we thought at this point, Neil. But again, we're looking forward to this great American total solar eclipse, like so many folks. And we're just north of you, in between here and Rexburg, at a beautiful bed and breakfast where so many people naturally are waiting for this great American total solar eclipse.
You ever been in this part of the country before?
I have not, and it's absolutely beautiful, and I say that with a big embrace. All throughout Idaho Falls and southeast Idaho, ladies and gentlemen, people are just so excited about the great American total solar eclipse. And here, from the spiritual side, which is very important to talk about, is Reverend Ruth Marsh of the Methodist Church, the Methodist faith, and she's been kind enough to spend a few moments with us, not only in her most magnificent and beautiful church, but to talk about the significance of this eclipse here in Idaho Falls. Welcome to the program.
Thank you so much.
Talking about the eclipse first, about what does it mean to the people here in Idaho Falls?
So for us, it has been an opportunity to see the great beauty and diversity of creation firsthand. In Idaho, we really love the fact that we're so close to the mountains, and so we enjoy that outdoors life. And this is one more piece of diversity we get to experience. If you just take a look around, you can tell how much God loves diversity and how much God loves to be able to bring about those changes and cycles that make, pardon the world go round, but help us to live full lives.
I totally agree. We talk about, folks, as we've been talking about through this whole program, the beauty of sacred geometry, when the moon and the sun in that rare moment, and here in Idaho Falls and various parts around the nation experiencing the great total solar eclipse. Let's hear from a person like yourself talking about this whole spiritual aspect of the beauty of the universe. Talk to us from that side, because it's not just about science. There's a lot more.
So indeed, it is more than just science. But I think that it probably the piece that speaks to my heart and maybe many in my congregation, and we're a congregation that's filled with scientists, is the fact that this is a time when we can experience God in a way that we can see the power. And it both speaks of the power, how darkness can overcome, and it speaks of the power of how that promise of light on the other side.
Here in downtown Idaho Falls, one day to the Great American Total Solar Eclipse, we've been waiting as much as you have for this event. Remember, this particular eclipse, we have not seen an eclipse like this here in the continuous United States for well over about 100 years, to be honest, from one end to the other. And as you can see in the background, so many of these events in sponsorship by NASA and local observatories and local astronomy clubs make this build up for the real excitement, which is tomorrow, the 21st of August. And being here in this sacred location they call Idaho Falls, like we've said many times, you have to be within this 70-mile path of totality in order for you to experience anything like a total solar eclipse. So we're excited. So many people here on the street will be asking many people what their reaction is about the buildup and excitement to the Great American Total Solar Eclipse. I'm Dr. Sky reporting here in downtown Idaho Falls, one day to 0 hour. We're right here in downtown Idaho Falls. And who do we run into, ladies and gentlemen? None other than Dr. Jim Green out of NASA headquarters as we're talking about the significance, the spirituality, and all other things science. Yes, we're going to talk a lot. Dr. Green, welcome to the program.
Oh, thank you very much, Dr. Sky.
This is awesome, folks. You know, we never planned on actually coming downtown, but Doctor, we're talking to so many people on the street about a simple question. What does this eclipse mean to you? And I'm going to ask you the same question. Tell us what this means.
Well, from a scientific perspective, it means a lot. It allows us for a brief period of time to look at the lower corona. Things we can't see actually from space. It's very hard to measure and look at the lower corona. So when the moon moves in front of the total disk and the atmosphere of the sun pops out, that's when the science will begin for the lower corona.
Absolutely. We call it sacred geometry, and the good doctor will explain it in greater detail, I'm sure. The moon, 2,159 miles in diameter, covering up the sun, 865,000 miles in diameter. What say you? That's really unusual, isn't it?
Actually, we are so lucky to be alive at a time when the moon is at just the right distance from us to cover the sun. Now, that hasn't always happened. You know, we believe the moon and the earth were formed pretty close together from a huge collision that happened early on in the evolution of the earth, then producing an object that we now call the moon, gravitationally trapped to us. But actually at that time, the moon was very close. And every year the moon moves about an inch away from the earth. So there'll be a time in the future when we won't have the opportunity to see total solar eclipses.
Very well said. And being in this 60 or 70 mile wide path, the umbra touching the earth, talk about the sacred geometry again. I mean, this is just totally amazing. So how far in the future would we say, if it's not an exact number, where these total eclipses will probably no longer happen?
Well, it'll be several 100 million years, so we don't have to worry about it. But, you know, as a planetary scientist, that's almost a wink of the eye.
Absolutely.
You know, the Earth is 4.5 billion years old, and so these kind of things have been going on, planetary alignments. But our life is so brief in relationship to that. And this is why this is such a special event for all those people that are alive today.
Very well said. And I want to ask the good doctor about this. Your area of specialty is, again?
I'm a magnetospheric physicist.
Now, for those watching and that may not totally understand that, that's why we have the good doctor here. You're looking at this area around the sun. I call it the sun's atmosphere, for the lack of better words. But describe the beauty of seeing this, because it's an interesting part of this. When the deep jet black moon covers up the sun, this solar atmosphere or such, you're studying it because I'm understood that the temperature of the corona is higher than the surface of the sun. Go figure. That seems amazing.
Well, the magnetic field plays an integral role. The magnetic field of the sun plays an integral role in heating that upper atmosphere.
I see.
We don't know exactly how it happens, but we think one of the processes is called reconnections. And that happens all over the place in the corona, in that upper atmosphere. And to get an idea of what that is like, take a rubber band, like a magnetic field line, stretch it until it breaks. What happens? Energy is released,
Absolutely.
your fingers get hit, and on the sun, it accelerates particles, heats them up. So that breaking of the magnetic field that constantly happens in the upper atmosphere of the sun has got to contribute to the high temperature that we now think is happening in the solar atmosphere.
I mean, every basic physics class that you take, doesn't it simply, Doctor, defy what common sense would say? Here's a burning object, or too hot to burn, fusion, as you know, and now we have this very high temperature. Do you think that's pretty common around other star systems, that they have the same dynamics of a corona?
Yeah, not all stars have the extensive magnetic field like our sun. There are some stars that are smaller that have enormous magnetic fields, and some stars that are bigger that are really wimpy in their magnetic fields. So the study of the stars and their magnetic field configurations, and therefore their coronas, is really a very important topic in astronomy.
Just a couple of quick questions. I know you're busy. Folks, as you're watching this particular event, the Great American Total Solar Eclipse, is probably over for everybody watching this. But Doctor, how many of these have you witnessed in your life? And then talk about the next one, because in case people are watching and saying, I want to see this, what do they need to do? What do they need to know?
All right. So on a personal basis, this will be my first total solar eclipse. All right. So I'm like the rest of us going to experience it for the first time. And like many people that do experience it for the first time, I kind of anticipate I'll get hooked. You know, and I may have to go to the next one and the next one and the next one. There's so many that do that. But there's a very important process that one must use.
Yes. Please explain this to everybody watching this. It's never too late. Even if the eclipse is over when you see this, please continue. This is important.
So for safe viewing, please use the safe viewing goggles. All right. You put these on first, and then you look up and see the sun. Now I see a beautiful disk, and only the disk, nothing else is observed around, and that's because it blocks nearly 99% of the light, only allowing a nice view of the sun to occur. Now as the moon moves in front of the sun, keep these on.
Yes.
But if you're in the path of totality, and you must know if you are or not, when the moon completely covers the sun, take these off.
Oh, yes.
Because that's when the show begins.
The total event, ladies and gentlemen. I call it the sacred romance of the sun and the moon. I've seen, this will be my fifth.
Wow.
We've traveled the world to see it.
Okay, so you got hooked.
But I'm glad we're here together, folks, because the good doctor can tell you all the intricate details as you've been explaining. Thank you so much for your time, Dr. Jim Green, out of NASA headquarters. His specialty, ladies and gentlemen, as a physicist, talks about the dynamics of what happened in that area that we should all experience for maybe 2 minutes and maybe 19 seconds here, the solar corona. I want to thank you, sir, for being part
Thank you very much,
of
Dr.
our
Sky.
program. It's a privilege and honor. Dr. Sky reporting live. We're downtown Idaho Falls. There is literally some 24 hours to 0 hour. And if you miss this, the next one of these is April the 8th of 2024. Good doctor, we're going to be in downtown Dallas, which I think is another place to see it.
Yeah, it actually cuts across Texas and up to the East Coast.
There you go. Thank
I'll be
you.
there.
Much more coming on our Total Eclipse coverage, the Great American Total Solar Eclipse. You know, folks, we waited for this so long. This is Eclipse Day. What's today? August the 21st, 2017. And if you're like me and so many other millions of people around America, we're waiting for this with great anticipation, the Great American Total Solar Eclipse. We're here as our cameraman pans around in this most absolutely majestic and beautiful bed and breakfast known as the Blue Heron Inn. Where are we? We're here in Rigby, Idaho. Just look around, how many people you see if he continues to pan around. Look at all the Eclipse fans that are ready for this most amazing event. But folks, on a lighter note, and I'm really serious about this, we're so serious all the time about shooting pictures. As I said last night in my presentation, take the time to breathe in the beauty of the eclipse and to have a little fun and add some levity to the whole experience. I'm standing here with Travis. Travis has visited us all the way from
Vermont.
And you do what?
I'm a bartender.
And we're going to talk about some drinks that people would probably want to have because you know the mixology better than I do. Travis has agreed to play something very incredible. The state of Idaho has given each and everybody an opportunity to scratch. This is called Eclipse Cash. Now, can you imagine? We're probably not legally allowed to do this because we know that we purchased our own tickets. And Travis, you agree to do this with no compensation.
Yes.
Okay, that's foolish of you, but that's okay. But here we go. We're going to have him, Travis, be a scratcher. Now, this is a good kind of scratching. What he's going to do is see if he can win some money off of these already purchased lottery tickets. Travis, let's go to the table.
Yes.
And now we're going to have our cameraman zoom in. Hold that Eclipse Cash card down. Good. Now, you know how to do this, so he's going to start scratching and see if he's a winner. Now, probably, I'm hoping he doesn't win because I want to keep it all for myself. But let's see what we come up with here. All right, these are the winning numbers. Now, he has to find some of those numbers. Okay. Travis, you continue on. Now, just like a regular eclipse, there's all different phases of the eclipse. It starts off as a partial eclipse, goes deep, and then it goes to totality. He scratched a $5 one. So that's not a winner, right?
Star means double that prize.
Star means double, so you won money.
$10.
So far, you won $10. Okay, now I told you since he's not going to be able to win anything, I'm going to keep the winnings because I already said that. But Travis, what's so incredible? I got to ask you this: you've come from Vermont. Why?
To see this amazing thing that's not going to happen in Vermont, the eclipse, the great American eclipse.
That's clearly across the United States. How long did it take you to get here?
2 years.
That's incredible. What do you walk?
Yes, backwards with my eyes closed.
I like your attitude. But seriously, folks, here's a man who's come across the nation to see this. Is this the first experience?
Yes.
Wow. And you're going to hopefully be with us on April the 8th, 2024, when we're in Dealey Plaza in Dallas, Texas. Would you like to be down there?
I would like to.
That's a historic place, a very sad place in American history. But seriously, talk about for just a moment Eclipse drinks. You're a bartender. Now, you see people come in, you must have a degree in psychology, because if I were a bartender, it's not so much about, hi, how are you? And you have to really deal with people. So for the Eclipse, in the mind's eye, and for our show, what would you be mixing up for somebody that was saying, hey, I'm excited, I want to see the Eclipse? What would be a great Eclipse drink? Give me an idea.
Absinthe on the rocks.
Wow, isn't that what, I'm trying to think. There was a famous writer who actually had that. There's wormwood in the old version, is that correct?
Correct.
Tell us about absinthe.
Well, we import it from Amsterdam, so it still has hallucinogenics in it, the wormwood. That's what you want to see when you're looking up its face.
I love this guy. I mean, he's just telling it like it is. But you know something? You're a loser on the Eclipse Cash, but certainly a great guy. So what we're going to do, folks, let me just step into the camera here and give him a consolation prize. Now, I'm going to keep the winnings on that because I already told you. Thank you for helping me. But what we're doing, folks, this is no joke. We were given these by radio station KID 590, great folks here, coast-to-coast affiliate. You are the winner of this most amazing Eclipse survival kit. What does it have in it? Look at that. A real moon pie. You have Orbit gum. You have 2 safe solar glasses and some sun chips. Get it? Sun chips. So what do you say, brother?
Thank you very much.
You're awesome, man. You're awesome. So you have your solar glasses ready?
Yes, I do.
Okay, 20 minutes to go to first contact. You know, after every eclipse, ladies and gentlemen, it all deserves a celebration with Fry Wine's beautiful Totality sparkling wine. So here, I'm going to pop this off and have a celebration with all of you, even if you weren't here, at the Great American Total Solar Eclipse. Would someone bring over some glasses, please?
Yes.
How about this? Our good friends here celebrating in totality. So let's do a toast to the eclipse.
Let's.
All right. Oops, sorry. I'm so excited I should be investigating. And as we say this way, as we put this back on camera, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this from Rigby, Idaho at the beautiful Blue Heron Inn. We'll see you in the next Shadow of the Moon, April 8th, 2024. Cheers to the eclipse.
Cheers.
To the eclipse.
Cheers.
Cheers. Hi, Dr. Sky reminds you to always keep your eyes to the skies.